On this week's episode, we had Ken Anderson on. Ken is a former professional wrestler in the WWE and TNA who now runs The Academy, a professional wrestling school in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today, Ken joins the Iron Huddle to discuss his start in professional wrestling, his experiences on his way up, and how his focus today is on developing the future of the business through his Academy of Professional Wrestling. Finally, this episode of the Iron Huddle Podcast is sponsored by Torque Strength and Conditioning. Torque Strength and Conditioning is a great place to work out and offers a variety of programs such as Torque CrossFit, Torque Barbell, Torque Fit, personal coaching, and youth and teen development. Finally, we hope you enjoy the podcast.
All right, so we are lucky enough today to be joined by former professional wrestler, Ken Anderson.
I'm actually a current professional wrestler.
Well, that's why I asked beforehand. So I was way out there, right? Well, those
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
No, I'm not on TV anymore. So okay. And I still do the smaller shows.
Yeah. And so what federations did you wrestle in? What were you in your?
Well, I spent 6 years doing independent wrestling, small shows at bars and armories and bar mitzvahs and birthday parties. And
the best of the best.
Yeah. And then then I got signed by WWE, spent 6 months in their developmental system down in Louisville, and then 4 years with WWE, and then 6 years with Impact Wrestling. And now I run a wrestling school here in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's awesome. What's the name of the wrestling school that you are running right now?
The Academy School of Professional Wrestling in Brooklyn Park.
Okay.
And now I teach people how to fall down because... I don't
well,
really want to fall down as much anymore.
Yeah, we're probably going to in a little bit here, but that's way harder than people, I think, even realize. Is the amount of brutality you take throughout a match it's a lot easier than just sitting at home and laughing about it, right? I mean, it's entertainment, but it's also a job.
It is. I think that a lot of people get into the business thinking that it's fake, and it is fake in the sense that we know who's going to win, who's going to lose for the most part.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen in the ring.
Yeah.
But it is scripted, but we beat the hell out of each other, and I think they think that because it's fake that they don't have to be athletes and they don't have to be athletic, and they get in the ring for the first time and they find out that when they hit the mat, it's not natural for you to kick your feet out and land on your shoulders and things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I think wrestlers are some tremendous. I mean, outside looking in, if you train athletes, you look at them like those guys are beasts. How big some of those guys are and how insanely well they move, and I can't believe some of the things those guys can do.
Well, I feel like a lot of times now you see a lot of development in their new, or is it Orlando, the WWE's training center?
NXT Performance Center.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see them reaching out to former college athletes for that reason, right?
Yes.
Trying to bring those guys in.
Which doesn't always work out for some reason. There have been a few crossovers, like Kurt Angle was an anomaly where they reached out to him and said, we want you to, but he's a very charismatic individual, and you get a lot of college athletes that are good at amateur wrestling or good at football or good at whatever, but they don't necessarily have the personalities.
Absolutely.
And let's face it, it's entertainment, and you have to be entertaining, and you have to have something about you that draws people to you, and makes people either want to boo you or cheer you.
Yeah. And he's one of the greatest exceptions you talked about is those lucky guy, having a body like Brock Lesnar or
Shelton Benjamin.
Yes. And Roman Reigns was a former, Viking for a little bit, I think.
Was he?
I think he, after college, came in for maybe a mini camp trial like Brock did, kind of. But still having that. But there's only so many few of those guys, like you're saying. I'm sure they go through a ton of athletes, and the ones that can stick maybe character development-wise hang around versus the other ones, I'm not sure.
There's a lot of guys that come in from the professional sports world or collegiate sports world, and they do well with the physicality in the ring, but they don't do well with speaking in front of a microphone or a camera.
And I imagine a lot of that too is, coming from an athletic background, you're being in the mental state of always being the dominant one. And I'm guessing putting your ego aside and selling for the other person is a huge part of getting respected, and also learning along the lines, I imagine.
There's a ton of give and take, and you have to know when to. I was just trying to teach my new students last night that, there's that. We have one student who he gets hit and he wants to fire back right away, like one up the other guy. And it's hard because that's your natural reaction in the real world, but in this world you have to know when to just kind of take it for a little while before you give it back, because otherwise
Well,
you're not telling a story.
Exactly, the perfect example of that is who's the greatest seller of all time? Ric Flair to me, right? Yeah.
Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Really guys that Jeff Hardy said to me once. He said, "You shine when you sell." So meaning like selling is acting like you're hurt.
Yep.
And people really start to get behind you when you're down. In my opinion, Superman sucks as a superhero because he's impervious.
Yeah.
You want flawed characters.
Yeah.
You want people that, if the guy's impervious, why watch? He's gonna win every time.
We're always going to find a connection, I think, with someone, rather than not everyone's perfect. Everyone has a cross to bear in some way, shape, or form, right?
Is that why Batman's so great?
Fuck yeah, Batman's the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We all agree.
That's not even up for question in this gym.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes. All four of us here. My wife.
Yes.
Sitting here, and she's
Anastasia's
nodding her
with
head.
us. Yes.
Yep, Batman.
So then back to you, Ken. You want to kind of, I think you've told this before on different
please, back to
podcasts.
me.
Yes, always. But you kind of had a different story. I don't think you really grew up as a kid loving watching wrestling Saturday mornings and all this and that. Do you want to tell how you got involved in it? What was your journey to where you are now?
I was at a buddy's house. I was like 21 years old. And I had always kind of given my friends a hard time because a lot of them were wrestling fans and they would wear wrestling shirts and they would talk about it. I was like, you guys seriously watch that stuff?
Well, especially at that age, too, yeah.
At that age, yeah, definitely.
Baby oil and tights, a bunch of bag shavers, and then I was at his house one night and he said, like, you gotta watch this one guy. And so I just, okay, whatever. We're drinking beer and hanging out, and I hear this glass break, and I see this bald-headed guy drive to the ring in a pickup truck with a six-pack of beer on his lap, and I was like, okay, that guy is cool.
How can you not love that?
And then just watched what he did,
Yeah.
and then I was like, every week I'd just watch to see what he would do, and then I would see The Undertaker. And then,
there you go.
Oh, he's kind of cool too. And then The Rock started getting funny. And it just snowballed from there, and I started realizing that it actually wasn't what I always thought it was. It was this soap opera for men. Or
Yes.
the way people have always described it. It's really for men and women nowadays, but
Yeah, they have a ton of. I think that now they almost have a. This year in the Royal Rumble, it may have been previous years as well, but they have their own women's Royal Rumble.
They do.
It was impressive to see where the sport has grown to.
Last year, the Royal Rumble, which is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year for WWE.
Okay.
The women Royal Rumble main evented the show, which is unheard of.
Yes.
And they killed it, too.
Yeah. A lot of the times they take over Raw, I feel like a lot of times, too. They have the dominant part of the matches.
Yep.
Yeah, that's impressive. So then, when you got the bug from watching Stone Cold and The Undertaker and the Rock and Sock Connection and all that, that was great, wasn't it? But back in those days, did you ever have the carryover where you were flipping back between the NWO and WCW, or were you always doing WWE?
I hated WCW.
Even with Goldberg and that?
Goldberg and Sting?
Yeah.
Come on.
I couldn't.
Those are my boys.
I know. I like them now.
Yeah.
But
it just wasn't.
I couldn't get into it. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay.
And I think it was because I was watching WWE. Or WWF at the time.
Yep.
And it was all these big, larger-than-life, colorful characters.
Yes.
And then I would turn on WCW, and at the time it was like everybody was coming out wearing jeans and T-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna kick your ass. And it was just
more,
a little more realistic.
Yeah, it was a little more self.
Yeah, and I wanted storylines and colorful characters and stuff.
Yeah. And I guess, and the funny thing was I was watching Goldberg's streak too, where, he must have these dark matches nobody saw because one week he'd have an undefeated streak of 10, and the next Monday night Nitro he was, 32 and
Yeah, right. Yeah.
he got building up. Subsequently, no one saw these matches. But still,
They didn't occur.
So then for you, getting that bug, and I'm guessing most of your buddies were working regular jobs and some were off to college. How did you end up pursuing this passion that you kind of fell into?
I was working a regular job. I was a nuclear security officer. I
Really?
worked at a nuclear power plant as a security officer, armed security officer.
Okay.
And at the time I was kind of thinking like, well, this is my life. And
Yeah.
there was some upward mobility there, and I was moving up in rank and things like that. Thought maybe I'd get into management one day. And then I started thinking, like, is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
This is boring. And I really don't like it. And so I started looking up wrestling. I remember actually it became wrestling was so big at the time. I remember, like, TV Guide had Mankind and Chris Jericho and The Rock and Triple H on the covers. There were like 4 different covers that you get in 1 week. And
I remember that.
Yeah.
I seriously remember that because he had Socko on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rock and Sock and
Yeah. I'm
Austin
sorry.
was on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And
Yeah.
Austin did the Got Milk commercials.
That's
and
right.
There was, you know,
Yes.
it was Austin 316 everywhere. And so I remember that's all we would talk about. Like, my buddies at work.
Yeah.
Everybody at work, that's all we would talk about. Wrestling. And
Yeah.
what's The Rock going to do next week when he comes out? And did you see what he did last week? And so then I was at a party one night, and one of my buddies said, yeah, you can go to wrestling schools. They're like places you can learn how to do all that. And I never even crossed my mind. And then I went home that night, and I got on. I wasn't Google at the time.
Yeah.
20 years ago. Whatever it was.
I think it was Yahoo.
Yahoo. Or
I think Yahoo was the main one.
Yeah. AOL.com.
Took you 20 minutes to
after
do one search.
Yeah, exactly. And I looked up wrestling schools. I found a wrestling school in Chicago, and I remember thinking, well, because I was living in Green Bay at the time.
Yeah.
Or close to Green Bay. And Chicago was about a 2.5-hour drive. And I remember thinking, well, I can go on the weekends and sleep in my car or do whatever I have to do, but I can go on my weekends off. And so I reached out to them, and luckily he knew of the guy that owned that wrestling school, knew of somebody who was opening a wrestling school in Green Bay.
Okay.
And so he kind of passed me off to him, and I talked to him.
Wow.
And it was interesting because when I had my initial conversation with him, he was asking me about Bret Hart and what I thought about Ric Flair, and I was like, well, I really don't know that much about those guys. I hadn't watched wrestling.
Yeah.
And I remember, in hindsight, talking to him now, he's like, he's never going to make it. And I was his first student, and and then I wrestled, I trained with him for 9 months.
Okay.
Every Sunday, like 3 to 6 or something like that, a couple hours every Sunday, and 9 months, and then I had my first match, and then I just started doing all the independent gigs.
Holy smokes! So, being in Green Bay, I can't imagine there were any very close matches around. Did you have to drive 6-7 hours every weekend? You had a wrestler. How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, there are
Batteries plus.
sorry, there are. I would say there's probably 2 or 3 promotions that run in that area. But there was a couple promotions that ran in Milwaukee. There were about 10 promotions that ran in the Twin Cities.
Okay.
Chicago. I mean, that would be our loop. It was like,
I see.
And within 2 years, I was able to work just about every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, somewhere in the Midwest. Sometimes, and Davari was my travel partner.
Okay.
And we would drive from here to Milwaukee, and then drive straight back after the show.
Wow.
To be here for the show that would occur the next day.
And then probably for your job, were you working at the time too, or did you quit?
I had quit, and I had moved over to the Twin Cities, and I got a job as a personal trainer because I wanted something that was, I'm at the gym already. I can train. It's free training. And it was flexible because I could work Monday through Thursday. Have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday available.
You probably grinded then, I imagine, Monday through Thursday just to travel.
I would go to work at 9 a.m. and I would stay there till midnight every day at Valley Total Fitness in Little Canada.
That's commitment right there.
At first, I remember, I quit my job. I was making good money at the nuclear power plant, good benefits, and I went to I would only make $7 a session if I was taking a potential client through like a free workout.
Okay.
Like an intro session.
Get $7 for that, and I try to hit as many of those as I could in a day, just to make that money. And then somebody would sign up, and another person would sign up.
That's grinding. Good for you. Holy smokes. So then, I think the cool thing about what you touched on, you always hear a lot of these guys, back in the 90s and 80s, and even before that, when they kind of had their travel partners and the traveling guys, they're going from show to show on the road, and how important was that for you to have someone, I guess, and bouncing ideas off of after shows, or kind of work on different techniques, or even maybe working on your character development? Did all that encompass between you guys working together, or I mean, how important was that on your career, I guess, as a young wrestler?
It's a part of my career that I look back on with nothing but positive memories.
Okay.
Even though at the time I wanted nothing more than to stop doing that and to be on the road full time with WWE.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You don't know you're in it until it's gone, kind of thing. Yeah.
I remember getting to OVW, and Al Snow was our head trainer. And he said, if you
very
guys
cool.
all want to get up on the road, you want to get on the active roster, but just remember this time because this is the most fun you'll ever have in the business. And I kind of disagree with him, but I see his point.
Yeah.
It was really fun, and there wasn't a whole lot, like, the camaraderie was great. There wasn't a whole lot of, backstabbing, but competition.
Yes.
Whereas you get up on the active roster, and there are a lot of people there that are worried that today might be the last day.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Somebody's always trying to come up.
So question about that with you. So let's say you are doing a show, you're driving down to Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever it's going to be. Are you working with somebody you never worked with before, and you guys just go over the routine, and all of a sudden you got to hope that he's as loyal to you as you are to him, type of thing, that trust factor, and if it's not, you kind of just grind through it. I mean, I got to imagine part of the tough part is hoping that there's enough respect for each other that you don't injure each other, one, and two, you can put on a good show, right?
Can I swear in here? Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
have you heard him talk?
I'm a sailor. You're good, man.
Earmuffs.
You hope the guy's not the drizzling shits. That's really, like, I hope I'm paired up with an opponent that's knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And usually you can tell within a few minutes of just talking to that person if it's going to be a good night at the office or a bad night at the office.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, for the most part, everybody's well trained enough that it usually goes well.
Okay. Gotcha.
But what you do is, if the guy that you're working with is less experienced or not, and other people will come up to you and go like, "Hey, be careful tonight." He's real stiff, or he's kind of dangerous, whatever. And then you just don't do those dangerous things.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in those situations. If you're working with a referee that isn't a very good referee, we're not going to do a lot of spots that the ref needs to not see, or needs to be in position for something. So
Supposedly that comes with experience, just like anything. Yeah. Really, kind of guys know how to play off each other and still have a good night.
I'm guessing that's why Hogan and those guys always just clench fingers and defeats a string. They're pretty stiff. Sorry. And then, so from there with you, I think the most biggest benefit, at least for me watching as someone from the outside, obviously, as a fan, is your character development was your personality, your voice. I mean, how did that, along with your great wrestling, obviously, but I mean, you had something else to offer. Did that develop, obviously, over the years, or did you go into the business thinking, I have something here? How did that come to be that you develop your personality in that regard, or your character, I should say?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. I did impersonations of different actors and stuff like that. Probably annoyed the hell out of everyone. Parents and teachers and friends and stuff like that. But I was always drawn to characters that could talk. The Rock, Austin, those kinds of guys. So when I got into the business and I started doing shows, because when I was in wrestling school, we never worked on promos or anything like that.
Really?
It was just
just wrestling.
Yeah.
And so then when I started doing shows, promoters would come up and ask me to do a promo, or I would have a week advance notice. Hey, you're going to do this promo, and here's what we want you to do. So I'd have time to think about it. So I would write stuff down and practice it, so that when it came time to actually do it, it went somewhat well.
Yeah.
And then, I just kept working on that aspect of it. And I had been, I remember when I got to OVW, I was speaking with one of the writers that came down from WWE just to kind of scout talent and see how everybody was doing. He said, like, there's something with your voice, and because I kind of wanted to be like a drill sergeant. I was in the Army. I went through boot camp, and like the drill sergeants were so funny. They always
pretty
had
good.
Like, the best. Oh yeah, just like. So I would imitate the drill sergeants sometimes, and sort of when I did my promos, I would kind of imitate drill sergeants too. And I remember somebody saying, like, I think there's something with your voice, but I don't know what it is. And then Paul Heyman came down and took the pencil from Jim Cornette at OVW. Meaning
two of the best of all time,
wrote
obviously,
everything. And he said, tonight I want you to go out and announce yourself, cut the ring announcer off, do your own introduction.
Oh, shit, wow. That was from Paul Heyman?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And then I went out, and I actually was a basketball announcer, so And at some point, I remember somebody had said, you should do the last name twice, like they do in old boxing ring introductions. And so I did it, and I remember, fans from the other team would come up and say, that was really funny when you said the last name twice. So I did it that night that Paul told me to go out and do my introduction, and I had like a 35-minute match too, to go along with that. And then I came back to the curtain, and everybody was like, that was really awesome when you said your last name twice. Not
Not the 35 minutes.
Fuck the wrestling.
You guys killed
When you said that
there.
word 2 times.
And so then that's when you know you've got something.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. I
Yeah.
didn't change anything, and
Yeah.
5 weeks later I was on TV for WWE.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So, and that's what kind of is almost, it's your talent, but it's almost dumb luck that it catches on, right?
It is.
I mean, look at
really
Austin. Yeah, like Austin, the funny thing about him was he obviously coined the "oh hell yeah" and the Austin 316, and then years later he just started saying "what," and even today now you can listen anytime someone speaks.
Oh, what?
The whole crowd's chanting it. It's just one word.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
When you're trying to cut a promo, and you're trying to remember what the writers gave you,
Oh, that's right.
and you hit like 2 or 3 words, and they're, what?
And you gotta go.
Oh man.
And that's I thought about that a lot of times. You guys are out those cutting those promos. You got to try to keep it together because it's almost you're talking in blocky short sentences.
Right.
It's crazy.
There's that wrestling cadence. Everybody does
Yeah.
a certain cadence when they cut a wrestling promo.
But just
Listen
amazing,
here, brother. What? I remember
It's like a slow country song.
So then you try to throw the cadence off so that they throws them off a little bit. And actually, that's how you get them to stop doing it.
it?
You just don't give them that same cadence.
Yeah.
I remember one time Vince is a funny guy because he gets on these kicks like every something will bother him.
Yeah.
Him saying like, "Stop interacting with the audience."
That's a good
They're not even
impression.
there. Like, okay. So I went out and I was cutting promo. I remember it was the opening of Raw.
Yeah.
I'm in a suit and tie and I'm cutting this promo and they start doing that what, and I was like, don't start with that what crap, which made them come even harder.
Yes.
What? And I remember coming back to the curtain and he was like, that was the shit. You knew they were gonna come harder when stop it. Don't. He didn't want me to do it. And then the funny thing, like 3 segments later, he's out there and he's talking and the people are doing it to him. He goes, shut up. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
So then I think I've heard you before talk about too how you guys would send a lot of your film to every week you could, every developer or every scout, whatever they're. And how? I guess you didn't kind of get noticed until you were doing a dark match. And what is a dark match too? For those of us who really don't know.
A dark match is just every week, Mondays and Tuesdays they tape Raw, or actually Raw's live, and then SmackDown is live on Tuesday.
Okay.
But before they have preliminary matches that aren't televised, those are dark matches.
But still in front of the audience, just
They're
on
still in
TV.
front of the audience, just kind of warm them up. And sometimes it's to take a look at a particular talent, or they're trying to push one of their talent that's already under contract. And they want to try new things out with them, so they'll give them to, they'll feed them a local guy. And, I remember going in and, like, you're not going to get anything tonight. You're just going to get beat up.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then I just do my best to make the guy look good.
Okay. Awesome.
And sell. Shine when I sold.
Yeah, there it is. And that's a huge part of it, though, because
I didn't even know it at the time.
I'm guessing if the guy doesn't like working with you, they're going to probably tell whoever the scout is or the booking the matches. He might have some input on, hey, don't bring this jackass up again. Or,
there's a book.
I love this guy.
There's a book with Polaroids in it.
Really? Oh, that's great.
It's a black book. Like, don't bring this guy. This guy sucks. This guy.
The black book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's like a binder that they have in a box that goes underneath the ring.
There could be
Fuck that guy. I don't like him.
There could be a whole ESPN 30 for 30 on that book. You got to present that. Wow. And then for when you would do that dark match, would you also present your announcing as well, or is that not part of it at the time?
No, you're not allowed to show any character really. Your job is to go out there and get beat up.
Okay. Awesome.
And make that other guy look good. And I really didn't get any opportunities. And the funny thing is I wouldn't get any feedback either. I'd come back and I would try to go to Johnny Ace or somebody, one of my, the agent who put our match together or whatever. Well, did you see it? Yep, it was good. That was it, like no sort of feedback. Yeah. And then you wouldn't hear anything, and I would go home and I wouldn't hear anything from the company. And so I just had to keep knocking on that door, sending tapes and calling. And I used to call Tommy Dreamer. It was like every third Wednesday. Yeah. I would wait 3 weeks and then call on a Wednesday because Monday was Raw, Tuesday was SmackDown, and then Wednesday he would get back to the office in Stamford around noon, and I would call. Hi, Tommy. This is Ken Anderson from Green Bay. Hello, Ken Anderson. What can I do for you?
So he must have been like a talent director, scout director back then, or
he was. Well, when I started, it was Kevin Kelly. Who was in charge of hiring new talent. I don't know if you remember him. He was an announcer at one point, or backstage interviewer. Now it's just for Ring of Honor now. And then it was Dr. Tom Pritchard. And then it was Tommy Dreamer. And I remember when I first, that hello, Ken Anderson. I was like, this guy hates me. But I just kept calling him, and I tried to be as nice as I could, and he was the one that eventually gave me my job.
Wow. Okay.
And that's kind of a funny story too. Can I tell it?
Go ahead. Persistence prevails.
So I remember Davari called me because he called me on like a Thursday or a Friday. He said, "Did you get a call from the office?" Because Davari was already hired by WWE. He was already on the road. He said they just hired 7 guys from Louisville, which is OVW, which is their development system. They brought them up to the active roster. They actually hired them. Did you get a call? And I was like, no. And I had been humping it for so long, and I was almost to the point where I was like, maybe I need to start thinking about doing something else.
Who are these 7 jackasses?
Right. And so I waited Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, nothing. And I thought, Wednesday I'm going to call, and I'll see what happens. And Wednesday I made that call. I was at work. I was personal training in Green Bay at a place called Fitnessology. And I called on the lunch break. And Tommy would always, if he was busy or had to do something, he would always go, I'll call you back. And then he would never call me back. But I remember I heard some rustling of some papers, and he goes, hang on a second. I was like, he said, hang on a second. He never says it. And then he goes, I've been trying to call you, but your phone is disconnected. And I looked at the phone that I had up to my ear, and I was like, no. And he goes, is your number blah, 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 blah? And I said, no. He goes, I've been calling the wrong number then. Well, I was calling to tell you that I got you a job. Just like so monotone.
That's awesome.
And he also went on to tell me that he was literally like a few moments or a few hours away from calling the next person on his list, and because he couldn't get a hold of me, and he thought like, well, he doesn't want it, so
holy shit.
So
that's crazy how it panned out.
It's funny thing is I don't ever remember him talking. I remember coming to the ring and everything, but to hear that impression is good. Oh my gosh, what a crazy story. Just a chance of luck too again. I mean, just the right time, the right spot.
It's really funny too because he's a very colorful character.
That's
very charismatic. That's just the way he talks.
Oh, that's funny.
No matter what story he's telling.
Really? Okay. Well, that's the impressive thing about the wrestlers. When the lights click and they turn it on, they're a completely different person a lot of times. So then for you, when you're in the WWE and you're making this big step and everything, and did you win King of the Ring? Was that your big step?
No, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, sorry. Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank.
That would have been King Ken Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy!
That was actually pitched. Somebody pointed out that the 3 letters there would not.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that probably.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So is that like
that's a nice ring to it, though.
Oh, yeah. That's another. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. No, that's
tough.
Ixnay. No, I won King, or not King. The Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Case at WrestleMania.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to ask, that was, you were taking off on a huge launch. You were going really a lot of public, not public. You were getting a lot of attention. You're doing great. And so when you're on that rise, I imagine were you on SmackDown at the time, if I remember right, or you?
I think
Raw?
So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I was because I was wrestling Undertaker a lot.
Yeah. Which was huge for him to take that step to go over to the.
It was huge for him to work with me.
I was gonna say, like, when you're when you take that that next step up to the WWE, now you win that and everything, and you're on your way up. Even before that, maybe or during that time, who are some of the biggest influences that you were working with, or even behind the scene guys that you look back and that they really helped you along the way?
There were so many guys. Taker himself.
Okay.
Batista was just a huge help with me. Booker T, Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit at the time.
Okay. Yep.
He really took me and MVP under his wing.
Yep.
Showed us the ropes. And, we were fortunate to have all the guys we had helping us over on SmackDown.
Well, I imagine like some of those big names you mentioned, have those guys come up to you and offer their time to help a guy who's up and coming like you. Maybe they saw something in you or they just enjoyed working with you. Yep. I imagine that just boosts your want to even work even harder and perform your craft even better and master that along the way to make them look better too.
And that's what it was. It was they knew that by having other guys around them that were good, that would make them look better. And overall, it really was. They split the brands. It was Raw versus SmackDown, and that's the way it felt backstage. We were competing with this other company within the same company. So we wanted to be better. We wanted to have a better show. We wanted to have better wrestlers than Raw.
Did they almost bring it to you guys like, we want you guys to get better ratings than Raw? Like, we want you guys to compete with them as a business to make it, obviously...
No, I don't think... I mean, they just want ratings, period.
Yes,
but it was presented in a way like, we want you guys to compete with each other. Okay. They like healthy competition.
Oh, absolutely, And was that the time where Vince had bought everything else?
Yeah, so there really was no competition. So we had to create our own competition in that company.
Which makes sense. It's the best way you're going to drive, no matter what you do.
Yep. Like, it's the worst thing in the world. It's the scariest thing in the world this is it. There's nowhere else to go.
You can't be complacent with something that big.
If you get let go from there, there's nowhere to go, right?
There's nowhere to go.
The indie scene again, or you're screwed after that. That's a great point.
Yeah. And I mean, growing up, that's the time when I was watching it. I mean, that was in my life. I mean, I wasn't old enough to really watch the Hulk Hogan and those guys, but it was fun as hell to watch. I just remember that.
But there were different companies that you guys could go to.
Well, you had wrestling like 3-4 nights a week you could watch.
Right,
Like it was crazy.
Yeah, back in the even like kind of when you were starting out, I imagine, I don't know if they were around back when but the different wrestling schools that are around, and I feel like they probably started to dissipate a little bit, and you were lucky to find the one in Green Bay there. And then,
I was lucky too because there were a lot of crap wrestling companies. There are people that probably have come to my academy, have trained with me for a couple months, and now are thinking about starting up their own wrestling school. Like people who go to that wrestling school.
Really? Well, I imagine that's an easy way to get yourself injured or get someone injured by not having all the experience that you probably have.
Yeah, and like the thing is even with the experience that I have and the knowledge I have, people are still going to get hurt.
I got you.
It's just that's the nature of the sport.
But safety is a huge concern to me at the school, and I try to make sure that I just told everybody last night. Big part of this business is knowing that you're putting your life in somebody else's hands, knowing that they're going to pick you up and place you back to the earth safely without dying.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest credits you always see, like John Cena getting. They always ask who's the one guy you trust to work with more than anyone. And they're like, I'll let John Cena pick me up anytime. Like, the Big Show was talking about that. I think they were interviewing him. He's like, Cena, hands down, no one else.
Right.
Which is huge.
Squat 9,000.
Yeah. And he looks like he does. Like, just, oh my gosh.
He trains.
And you had a chance to work with him. You went to Raw for a little bit, right? And you were with him and some of the guys?
I went, in the 4 years that I was there, I went back and forth from Raw.
You did? Okay.
Like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But they would have the draft every year.
Oh, that's right.
They drafted over to Raw. And then SmackDown.
If you're able to tell us, I don't know if you are, was it an actual draft? You guys would find out where you were going that night?
Actually, they would send 5 of us up to gorilla position, which is the spot right behind the curtain.
Sure.
And they would just say, just wait here. So you knew that it was one of you guys, but you didn't know who.
Oh shit, it's that.
Yeah, it was that. Because, and I think the reason is because of the internet.
Yeah.
Because there's always some stooge backstage that wants to spill his guts and would go to one of the dirt sheets, the wrestling websites and say like, oh, so-and-so is getting drafted tonight, and then it spoils the draft.
Which is funny they would even do it, because I just saw that this week with AJ Styles. Someone leaked out he had a brand new contract, and AJ Styles replied to them, "Really? I haven't gotten word of this at all." And I called him out about it, which is just weird. But so then from that point, when you were done with WWE, I know a lot of guys end up going to the New Japan Wrestling League. Did you ever have any offers or any desire to go wrestle anywhere else outside the country, or?
I wanted to go to TNA.
Okay. Oh, did you then?
I did. I went to TNA. I was there for 6 years.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So that was.
What was your experience like there?
It was awesome.
Okay.
It really was. It was fun. It was good from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
I got a lot more creative freedom there.
Okay.
And the locker room was just awesome. The locker room was good in WWE, but the locker room was just great in TNA.
Okay.
There's sort of this mentality at WWE that, like I said before, like today might be my last day.
Absolutely.
So people are kind of walking around on eggshells, like.
Yeah.
And there's none of that at TNA. It was just like a big family, and you just went there, and everybody just liked to do what they did and did it well.
And that goes a long way, like in any sport, like in football, or whatever. You go at the door and you build that camaraderie in the locker room.
Yeah.
You're going to be so much more better on the field or in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have guys fighting over who's going to lose.
Yeah. Put the best show on you can and still lose, right?
Yeah. Go and entertain the people.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine having that kind of uncertainty. Like when you're at WWE.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And that would high stress.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And a lot of it you can't control, like we said, like, well, that's one other thing that's so hard to watch. Sometimes, like, we see a guy that we're watching a Monday Night Raw or a pay-per-view, and you want this guy to succeed so well in the snap, and you can tell whether it's Vince or who's ever running it, they're trying to get this other guy, they're pushing so hard, but no one wants to watch his bum. Like, push this guy, right? And that's part of it. And you guys know what as wrestlers as well, you're in the business, they may not tell you directly, but that's going to be a hard part for you guys as well, saying, well, if I get an opportunity and if I get a big pop from the crowd, why don't you push me? I don't know.
It is, yeah. And that's a frustration that people have. But there's also, I think, a misconception that just because you get a reaction from the crowd does not mean that you are. Because we call it a star pop in the business, where people in the crowd will react to a person that they see come out who might have a really colorful entrance, whatever. Like, that's the guy we see on TV every week. That's what it is. It's not, but they don't buy his merchandise, and they don't. You know what I mean? The ratings don't go up when that person was on TV, whereas they can literally, they break down the quarter every 15 minutes. They can tell you, like, when this person came on, this many people switched channels. And
That's huge. Joe, absolutely, because you always think about that with...
which is big in their production meetings every day. They go over those metrics.
Okay, so they probably have a better idea who they're pushing.
This is who we're going to push. Because
that makes sense.
This is what people are reacting to.
Well, especially with that kind of business, I bet metrics are so much.
Huge.
Like, it is all, at the end of the day, it's sales, really.
Well, I imagine you had quite a big push, too, when you come out, because you were on a high stretch for a while. Probably your mic development helps you a ton with all that.
I think people that are able to do both, wrestle and talk, get a better opportunity.
And let's talk about that a little bit. As far as, like, I think you guys have talked about before, and even when you're doing the wrestling school right now, when you watch it today, I think you talked about this on other podcasts as well, but did you have the freedom, the creative freedom back in the day to go out there and, like you said, write down what you want to do and express your own views or opinions around that match or how you're going to build a relationship with the crowd? Or is that kind of manufactured for you?
No way.
No, okay.
He's like, I know where you're going with this? Hell no. I saw it in his eyes.
I had a script I had to read?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
In fact, like I've heard... there was one particular talent who was sort of given the green light to say whatever he wanted. Sure. One of the very few.
Yeah.
And there was another talent that went out that was, scheduled to do an in-ring. They were going to go back and forth, right? They both had scripts. Yeah. And the one guy who had the green light started going off a script and sort of burying the other guy. Yeah. The other guy kind of fired back off script. And when they came back, Vince said, stick to the script.
Okay.
But he did it. Yeah. And he was like, it's okay for him to do it. I said he could do it.
It's like an old boys club, really. That's, oh my gosh. Okay. So then now, before everything full circle, I remember talking to you years ago in the gym. You said you'd always been thinking about starting this wrestling school, and you wanted to get it going, and weren't really sure where or when or how you're going to do it, but I think you've been in business now for what, 2 years? Oh, hold on a second, you gotta. So no, I remember talking in the gym a few years back. You had mentioned you always wanted to kind of do this wrestling school and get it going. You just weren't sure when, where, or how. And how did this start for you, and kind of where are you at now?
It was, my friend Damari.
Okay.
We were sitting around. He had just come back from San Diego and wanted to do something, and neither one of us were working for any of the big companies, so
Yeah.
it was, and again, it was something that I always wanted to do, and it was him that sort of pushed me, like, let's just do it. And then so we just started brainstorming in my living room, night after night after night. We would stay up all night and just, we started designing the website and then figuring out what we were going to do, how much we were going to charge, how long the program was going to be, and things like that. And then we just pulled the trigger and started announcing via our social media.
Yeah.
And I remember we started watching all the products. So we would watch Raw and we would live tweet during Raw, which is a 3-hour show now.
Yeah.
And then SmackDown's a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
And then TNA is a 2-hour show. And it was a full-time job just live tweeting.
Okay.
And we ended up getting 42 students for our first class.
Holy
we didn't know
damn.
we didn't know what it was going to be and what the response was going to be. And we were surprised. We got 42 students in our first class.
That's a lot to manage, isn't it? I mean, how did that?
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean,
yeah.
It was. I was happy that we had 42, but
Yeah.
on the day when it happened, I'm looking around going, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
How are we going to split this time? Because, even today, when I have a bigger class, it's hard, because I'll demonstrate something to one of the students, to everybody, and then everybody gets a chance to come in and do it. But sometimes, if it's a big class, everybody's standing on the ring around the ring for 20, 30 minutes, watching other people screw up.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, and then.
So that's sort of that's a triangle.
Okay. And have you guys been open for what, 2 years now or so?
2 years, yeah. December 6th.
Okay.
Will be this last December 6th will 2 years.
And then how does that work? How long does a class run for that you bring in?
So we right now are at 8 months for the program, and we run Monday through Friday for the most part. There are times where like last week we canceled all week.
Oh yeah, last year. Those of you who are from Minnesota, it was 50 below here for a week straight. So
brutal.
It was
what we call air
insane.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was 30 or 40 degrees on Sunday, so I didn't wear a coat.
That's what I shorts and flip flops.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was nice out.
I was ready to go to the beach.
Yeah. So 8 months,
8
go to
months.
class, and you have like continuing education after that, basically, if they graduate or something, or?
Right now it's 8 months, Monday through Friday. Mondays and Wednesdays are beginner class.
Okay.
And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are advanced. So we usually just have them, they start doing matches. I'll give them 5 to 10 minutes to, they have 5 or 10 minutes to put on a match.
Yeah.
And then we tape it, and then I critique it.
Okay.
We go around the room and sort of, everybody gets a chance to offer input, how it could be better, what they screwed up on, what they did well. And then Fridays, everybody kind of comes together, and we do work on promos and character development, things like that.
Very
I
cool.
like that because, like anything, you have to show some kind of commitment, rather than someone coming in and do a month to month, and now you just wasted tons of times and resources, right?
Right.
So if they sign up for the 8 months, they're fucking in.
Well,
mostly. I'm gonna say sometimes they're probably like, well,
I'd be surprised how many people are like,
oh, I believe it.
I remember when I first was talking to some of my friends, Bubba Ray and Devon.
Who, by the way, were so fun to watch at TNA when Bubba Ray took on that new personality. He was so much fun to watch. Sorry, keep going.
No, I agree. One of my favorite guys to work with ever.
Rosie, really?
Yeah, he was really awesome.
Yeah, when they gave him a personality, he was when he was supposedly dating Hogan's daughter Brooke or whatever at that time. Like, oh my, he was just to have a personality, have him be the mean character we wanted to hate for a while and stuff. He was so fun to watch. I mean, it just Sorry, keep going.
No,
it was good.
I agree.
Well, he's a big physical dude too. Was it hard to work with a bigger guy like that, or?
No, he's super easy to work with. Some guys are really like some of the bigger guys are hard to work with because they're just not very flexible.
Sure.
So
tight.
They're stiff.
Yeah. But he's just he's a pro. I mean, he's been doing it for probably close to 30 years now. So.
Oh wow.
Shit, yeah, and
He's got a little bit of experience.
he's like you a lot too, where he's good at the mic. Like I think I saw some old videos of him and Paul Heyman worked together back in the what's that old thing where they're the old league
ECW.
ECW, yeah. He was a big ECW guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Tables and chairs and ladders, the
But
W
he
boys.
didn't really. I don't think they talk much, but they did.
Okay,
And
yeah.
When he does talk,
He's just good, yeah.
good. He actually has a program right now in Sirius.
Oh, he does. Okay.
It's every day. It's Monday through Friday. It's like
Really?
3 or 4 hours. It's one of the
Okay.
biggest,
Yeah.
Sirius shows. It's
Is it based on wrestling? Is it on?
yeah, it's all wrestling.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Him and
Very cool.
Mark Henry and
Yeah.
somebody else just talk wrestling.
Oh wow! And Mark Henry's obviously good in the he never really had much of a chance, I thought, on WWE to really be a voice guy. But the one time he did, when he pretended to retire with Cena, and then he took Cena out, that was a classic night. But anyways, he was also announcing the World's Strongest Man at the Arnold last year. He's always
really?
out there announcing. Yeah.
Oh, Mark was?
Yeah. Pretty cool
He
to see
is
him
a
so involved.
strong dude.
Yeah, wasn't he?
I've seen him take forks
Yeah.
and like twist them like swizzle sticks. You know, you see
yeah.
those mixing sticks,
Yeah.
you get those metal ones
Yeah.
that have the little spiral. Oh my God.
How much does he squat? Like 1,100 raw?
He was probably close to Larry Williams back in the day. I mean, he come out of Texas, where he was
Texas.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Just a strong dude. He was the world's strongest man for a while, at least. They promoted him that way.
Yeah.
But that's
He
a
was.
guy, you got to be able to trust, I imagine, the ring as well, being able to do whatever he wants to do with you.
He's another guy that's surprisingly agile.
Yeah. Okay.
Being as big and as powerful as he is. And,
Yeah.
and gentle too. You know,
Okay.
like we want to look like we're beating each other up without actually beating each other
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Some guys are not good at that, and
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to work with him.
Sure. And is that a lot what you teach at the academy too? Is like obviously how to, I always hear, taking a bump, running off the ropes. Those, every match things you're going to do, are those the hardest things you have to teach because they're so common? Or what do you find is the hardest things for you to teach and some of the things you really enjoy watching your students excel at?
Some of the things that are hardest to teach. First thing is running the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. You've been a wrestling fan your whole life, I imagine.
Yes, sir.
You've watched wrestling.
Enough.
You've You've seen guys hit the ropes
Yeah.
and run the ropes. And,
Yeah.
and every person that gets in that ring,
Yep.
it's like watching a deer take its first step. It's amazing.
I mean, you would just fly over the top of it.
Even getting in the ring, like
Oh, yeah.
I remember doing autograph sessions or
Yeah.
in-ring photos at the end of the
Okay,
show
yeah.
for a promoter, so they allow the fans to come in the ring. And
Yeah.
again, you've seen people get in and get out of the ring,
Okay.
and it's like trying to enter Fort Knox. How do I do this? Like going to the bottom rope? Like
Yeah,
where do I
yeah,
put my head?
yeah.
What do I do with my hands?
Oh, that's great.
It's funny. I want to get up in the ring just to show I know how to do that. I say that, but who knows?
Maybe we can offer them a deal for a dark match.
Yeah. We should do a video of us
come on down.
trying to get in
That'd
and
be
us falling
hilarious.
on our asses.
Like for a podcast entrance? Yeah. That'd be a great goof.
But then I think the next most difficult thing for people to get is that fine line between making it look like you're beating each other up
Sure.
and not.
Yeah. And with that, back to running the ropes, I mean, you always, I don't know if it's true or not, but back in the, when WWE had their Tough Enough thing, I always talked about, you would get bruises on your lats. Does that actually happen, or is that just kind of...
It's so, depending on how you run the ropes.
Okay.
The way I teach it, you don't...
It's
you
your
don't
back more than your...
Yeah.
Okay.
If you run it on if you hit with your
Yep.
side, then yeah, it hurts.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
the way that I teach it,
Yeah. Okay.
no problem.
Gotcha.
But again, it's that first time. Sometimes I remember having this couple that came in,
Yeah.
and they was really good-looking couple, very athletic.
Yep.
I thought that they'll
Sure.
do well. And she got in the ring. He got in the ring, took his first bump, fine. She got in, took her first bump, and the look on her face was like, this hurts way more.
Yeah.
And then she had a brave face for the rest of the session.
Okay.
She got it back in there and did everything that I asked of her,
Yeah.
and did it.
Yup.
They never came back.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I can imagine. That's the thing about, you see some of these really, as we talked about earlier, these athletic, great looking people that walk in there, and not that they don't have it, but there's a toughness element to it, and even being smart enough mechanically to know how to probably not give yourself a headache every time you take a bump on the ground. Maybe, I don't know what the instructions are, but I'm guessing you have to somehow lock your lats or somehow not allow yourself to lose your breath either, right?
Tuck your chin.
Okay, yeah.
Breathe out. Breathe out.
Okay.
Breathe out.
Bro, I'm game.
And then even with that, like even taking a punch, how would I mean, I'm not sure, I always try to resemble my buddies with a slap or, and you're just coming back and just giving yourself
I make everybody, every time
Yeah.
one of my students slaps their leg on a kick or a punch, I make them do 100 squats.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad it's show.
I love that.
As a group, everybody has to do it.
So it's not an actual thing then.
And
I
they
always
don't
thought
have
it
to
was.
do it right there.
Okay.
We tally it up over the night. So
Oh wow.
Oh, fuck. So at the end of the night,
600 squats. Go.
that's awesome.
What if it's shying the whole room though?
What if it's what?
What if it's shying the whole room? What if they trying to sell?
That's a no.
It's just so overdone.
Is it?
now.
Okay. Gotcha.
There is an art to it. If you
Yeah.
can do it without me knowing that you did,
I gotcha.
I'm okay with it.
Just like, you won. Yep, yeah.
That's fine. But
So then, at what point too? Like, what are some of the? You have your beginner classes, and then what do the advanced classes, I guess, consist of that the beginners don't?
it's just like more match construction. It's
Okay.
putting those matches together. Whereas in the beginner class, we're just learning the moves and
Sure.
learning
Okay.
the holds and things like that.
So constructing, kind of like you were saying, as far as you're getting beat up for a while, then you become the
Yep.
The
when
pursuer.
to shine, when to sell, when
Okay.
to
Gotcha.
Basically, actually orchestrating the whole thing.
the storytelling process.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
process of it. There's a certain formula that's not exact, but there's a formula
Okay.
to storytelling
Yeah.
in itself. There's a bunch of different formulas
Okay.
that you can follow, and we try to explore those and
Very cool.
teach them how to do it.
Did you get to a point in the training too where you for safety reasons, allow or don't allow guys to go up on the top
Nope,
turnbuckle?
they're not allowed to go to the top
Okay.
rope in my school.
Yep.
Nothing above the second rope.
Yep.
I have done it in private sessions, so we
Sure.
also offer private sessions.
Okay.
And somebody can come in and we have a big crash pad.
Yeah.
Then I just make sure, because
Yeah.
what ends up happening is somebody that's advanced that can actually do that stuff
Yep.
safely off the top rope
Yep.
does it, and then somebody else that's not quite as athletic or
Okay.
sees it and goes, I'm going to try that too, and then they end up killing themselves.
Yeah.
The last time we had somebody go to the top rope, this is when I banned top rope anything.
Okay.
The guy almost, he went up to the top rope just to do something.
Yeah. Frog splash.
Not even that. He was
Yeah.
going to jump and land on his feet in the ring.
Okay.
And he almost fell out of the ring.
Oh, jeez.
And
Yeah.
it would have been
That's a high. You're up there high too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 feet, I think.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's that high?
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
And plus,
Okay.
you got the turnbuckle behind you, which is that post, right? Or if you have stairs or not.
The top of the post is like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
10 feet.
And if you have stairs behind them on that too, I mean, that's you
Yeah.
hurt yourself. You fall back.
I'm scared of heights, so.
Are you?
Yes. I don't even like ladders.
Yeah,
So-
really.
I'd say that first rope.
Yeah. Just roll under.
Yep, yep.
Did you ever have like a?
Hulk Hogan never went to the top rope.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Neither
But
did The Rock.
how about the impressive thing though, which would be fun if everyone wore a cup, I guess, if you had like a competition for push-ups afterwards, to do the Undertaker walk the top rope. That's the most impressive thing I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah,
Which
right.
I think he balances on his opponent's hand maybe or whatever, but still be able to walk like that. That's ridiculously hard. It looks like.
Yeah. Especially the WWE ropes are real rope. Like most
Okay.
wrestling rings have cables.
Oh, okay.
WWE uses actual real ropes.
So they're tighter maybe or stretch
No,
more?
they're stretchy.
They do. Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
stretch more. Which I like, because it's supposed to give you that slingshot effect, that's
Oh,
the whole
yeah, yeah.
reason why you hit the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they hit it and they just bounce right back and
Yep.
yeah.
Like a rubber band
Yep.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I remember watching WCW and ECW, and maybe this was part of the reason why I didn't like them as much.
Okay.
Those ropes were so tight, but guys would still
okay.
run the ropes, but it would
Yeah.
just be like it didn't make sense,
Yeah.
like they're
Now that you
why
say
are they
that,
hitting the
I
ropes?
get it now.
Yeah.
Why are
yeah,
they
I
hitting
had
the
no
ropes?
idea.
It doesn't offer you any more.
They're kind of just like.
Do you think it was a financial thing? They bought the cheaper ones just because to put the ring together better, or was it just because they wanted to be different? Maybe.
I think it was just,
Okay.
they wanted to be different, and I think at the time WCW and ECW were heavily focusing on the cruiserweights.
Oh yeah,
who
yeah,
like
yeah.
to do stuff off the top rope,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they like
Yeah.
to do springboards and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do that stuff
Yeah.
when you've got a nice tight
Gotcha.
rope.
Okay.
And then like you had spoke about as well with both your classes, how you do film review basically. And that type of stuff. First off, how was the reception of the kids or your clients, probably of all ages, but do they take your coaching pretty well? Or are some people pretty like, is it a learning experience to take coaching as well that they go through?
First day I tell them, I have a big list on the board, and it was like safety first, ask Anastasia second, third, don't be a dick.
Politically correct.
And then fourth, what I'm sorry, what did you just ask me?
I forgot.
No yeah buts.
Okay.
Somewhere in there is but. I fucking hate yeah but.
Yeah.
You're giving a critique to somebody.
Yeah.
And they, but
sure.
But I did it because of
just take it, right?
Shut up.
Yeah.
Not always. There are some times where the reason I did it was because I thought this.
Yeah.
And then I can either revise my belief and so I've been wrong before. Rarely, but
Well, I think that's one of the best learning. I mean, for us too in college football, the best thing is being with a hard-nosed O-line coach or D-line coach, whatever it is, your position coach, that they're going to put you through an embarrassment, not because they want to, but here's the deal: you're going to take your medicine, shut up, and just go do it better, or get it done. And your job as a player, obviously, is getting most of yourself, but you're accountable to your teammates too. You don't want to be the one weak link on that chain that messes up every time. Your job is to get out there and get better. So I imagine as the people in your class learn to accept that, they probably excel better too.
I think so. Look, if you know everything, why are you don't need me.
Yep.
You're damn right. Yeah, that's something else. The
Same
coach he's speaking of.
Yeah,
you have to be uncomfortable to grow. No matter what that is. Some people need a dose of taking their ego down. It's happened to me. It's happened to everyone. That's why I become a better athlete at whatever sport you're doing.
I imagine it happens here, right? With your training here when you're training the clients and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Trying to teach them powerlifting technique.
Exactly. I was doing a movement workshop, and this lady's nice as hell, but she kept trying to kind of show the crew, because I had a lot of coaches here doing this, that she knew, trying to be on the same level as me, which is fine. But some of her ideas, I have no time for bullshit, so I'm like, no, that's not the case. I would just put her in her tracks, and you can tell she's never had that happen before. And we'd move on. She's like, fuck. After the workshop, though, she's like, I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Fantastic coaching. Yeah, so I think it was, sometimes you got to know your place. Yeah. I think it's hard for it doesn't matter if you're a football coach, wrestling, it does not matter.
And same as you when you were working out with Julian out in California, right? And he asked, why are you doing it this way or whatever? And you were able to tell him, like, he's okay.
Yeah. And there's times, too, where I think it's a good way to test someone, too. If you don't know the why you're doing something, then you shouldn't fucking be doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in the wrestling, that's storytelling. Yeah. Storytelling in the wrestling business. Like, why did you do that? Why did you just do that move? Because it looks cool. Well, that's not a good reason.
That's not a good reason. No.
Yeah.
No.
I did it to cut that guy off, and attack his leg so I could attack, so that he could do his high flying maneuvers and things like that. Like,
because then they're learning.
Yep.
And that's probably, if you're a coach, that's the biggest thing. That's something I always tell my athletes is I don't want you to be a zombie, or I always say sheep. Yeah. Right? Like I'm not a sheep herder. Like come in here and learn. Right? Yeah, exactly. This is a classroom. Still, I'm the fucking teacher. I'm the dictator. But I'll also listen to you if I need feedback, right?
Yep.
And I think that's how coaches grow. And you can learn a lot through your athletes.
I have learned so much just from my students, like certain techniques, or there was a head scissors. You know what head scissors is when they wrap.
Yep.
You're on your back and they got your head.
Oh yeah. It's more of a lightweight thing, isn't it?
And there's usually when you go to kick out, there's a way that you hold your hands.
Okay.
When you want them to stay and not let you go.
Okay.
And then you switch your hands when you're ready to have them let you out. I never knew that. And my students taught me it. Little things like that.
Yeah, that's all the lingo and the technique in the form that you have to teach, stuff that we would never even think about. Like that goes so far. And then when you have your advanced classes in that, when you're either going over the film or you're doing the telling a story in the match, are they able to kind of go on their own during this time? Like, I'm going to attack that leg so he can't do his move he wants to at the top lower. Like, do you give them the freedom to create that, and you kind of have it down, or does it go both ways?
That's the best. That's the best part of the job, is actually seeing them, kicking them out of the nest a little bit.
Yeah.
And seeing them.
Okay.
Because I try not to. I tell them, look, however old you are. We got a guy that started yesterday who's 40 years old.
Wow. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. And he's 40 years old, and
Yeah.
I said, you've waited 40 years. You can go 6 more months without working a match in front of a crowd. And
Yes.
like, learn the techniques.
Yeah.
You know.
You think you
before
want to, just confident-wise, not go through and make a jackass of yourself.
Right. You can't put the genie back in the bottle once it's out.
Yeah.
Like, once you've made a fool out of yourself in front of a promoter and a crowd, like, it's kind of hard to.
Absolutely.
So, but then for them to, then they come back and, you know, last night after class I had 2 students come to me, hey, can we watch my match from this last weekend? And we did, and it's awesome to see them thinking for themselves and doing stuff that I've never taught them.
Okay.
Well, I think that's something I try to talk. It's as a coach, all of a sudden you see people grow and do things on their own.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you sometimes coaching less is coaching more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's something I love to see too. It's I think that's a lost something that's lost on some coaching. We try to give them all the answers too quickly rather than planting that seed and they'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in parenting, right?
Yeah.
There's so many. I remember as a kid, or at least I think I remember this, asking parents, grandparents, whatever, a question, and I never got I don't know, let's figure that out together, or let's go. It was always like some bullshit, sort of made up.
Just get you out of there.
Well, just nobody can say the hardest words in the English language are, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, you're right.
And sometimes, I've had students ask me, what about this? I don't know, but I'll find out the answer. Let's go look it up.
Yeah.
Which is huge, too. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, too, like with what you're saying, the both of you is like, even like we have a former Olympic weightlifter in here that comes and teaches a lot of Olympic lifting, and he'll talk about, I'm sure it's happened to you in wrestling, too, is how he may have one coach he's been working with for 5 years telling him this one thing but doesn't click. And then he works with this other coach, and he tells him to kick his knees back a certain way. And boom.
Yeah, in one weekend. Yeah.
I'm sure you the exact same thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Just a different way they told you. If you understand it, boom, it clicks.
Like one word was different.
Yes.
Yep.
That's all it is.
We've had, we offer seminars every few months. We have somebody come in that's been successful in the wrestling business. Kevin Nash, Tommy Dreamer, we've got
Those are some,
Billy Gunn.
Okay.
And that's happened where
Really?
I've been telling them for months and months. Sometimes there are people that have been with us for 2 years, and one of those guys will say something to them, and they'll come up afterwards and go like, hey, I never knew that I should do this. And I let it go.
But that's
But it's hard to let it go.
Oh no, it is. It sucks as a coach.
I've been telling you that for the last 2 years.
That's what I've been saying. So when that happens, like, do you run up to those guys and say, hey, what did you exactly say to them? Because it worked.
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
But that's what it takes. That's
I understand.
Yeah, the
it
best cue is the
happens.
one that works, and it might be.
Yes.
That's something that's so crazy. Like this is an offense story, but I have an athlete. She's a nurse, and I couldn't, for some reason, she kept like dropping her chest and the pull the snatch. And finally, all of a sudden, I go thoracic extension, which is a cue that you wouldn't use with your normal person. She's like, oh, and I'm like, fuck, are you kidding me? 6 months,
Right.
6 months, and I dropped that. And I'm like,
Kinesiology back
yeah,
then.
I'm like, that fucking works.
Yeah.
But you won't chest up, doesn't, like.
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
True that we all learn differently.
Thoracic extension.
Yeah. Right. I'm like,
Who knew that that was
God.
going to be the magic thing?
That's a great character name right there.
Thoracic extension.
Or a finishing move, right?
Sounds like a
like you're breaking
goal.
back.
You're going to see come out 3 years of WWE all of a sudden. Trained by Ken Anderson. The thoracic extension.
I'm coining that term now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So then, along with the teaching of the skills, and you have the video, do you also have these kids, like we were talking before we were on the mic here, but you also have referees that have gone to go places. Do you also have, do you work the mic with these kids at all, or how do you, okay.
That's Friday nights. We do promos.
Oh, very cool.
We give them a topic
Yeah.
or a scenario, and then have them,
Okay.
or give them 20 minutes or 30 minutes to put something together, and then everybody just stands up and
Okay. Now, is,
we critique it, and then we go around the room and everybody gets to offer.
Oh, wow.
criticism.
So
I always
what's,
say, like, remember, you're going to be up there at some point, so be kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Offer constructive criticism, not just...
What's the bravery like? Are they pretty cautious? Do they have to take a shot of whiskey before they go up there? Like, how do they...
Surprisingly, we've had, I think, 2 or 3 times where somebody's gotten up there and completely frozen.
Okay.
And that was on the first night. One of them was one of our recent graduates.
Okay.
Who is phenomenal. Like, he's only been wrestling for 6 or 7 months, and I think he's gonna go places.
Very cool.
He's very good. He's caught on very quickly, but the first time he got up, he stood in the ring with the microphone up to his lips, and he just froze, and I was like, "You're live, keep going," and he was like, "I'm sorry, I can't." I mean, he had to walk away.
It makes sense. It's a learning process to even have the confidence in yourself to know what to say, because you're still learning who you are.
I feel like that'd be... I've coached seminar certifications, coach how many people each week. I couldn't fucking do it.
Right.
Like, I could not. I couldn't even imagine.
I think it's easier to do in front of a huge crowd of people than it is to do it in front of...
Yeah.
I suppose because you don't know them.
If it's just the 7, there's 7 of us in this room, and I ask you to cut a promo for 1 minute, it's going to be way harder for you to do that.
And think about how long 1 minute turns into in front of 50 people.
Yeah. Especially, I guess you're right. That's probably way more intimate.
Totally. These people are all judging me. I'm going to see them tomorrow.
I never thought of it that way.
Everybody else is like, I don't know that person. He doesn't know me.
Fuck that guy. He sucks at this.
He's watching me. He paid to come see me.
The old Rick Rude. Oh, you fat slob sitting at home. Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
That would be fun just to talk mad shit like that.
Being a bad guy is the best. I always say, like, I get to do and say all the things that I really want to do and say in real life.
Yeah.
I would get in trouble for if I did it in the real world. Like, and I get to go like, that was just my character speaking.
And you were a heel for the most part. Heel was being a bad guy, right? Or were you a heel for the most part then? Or you enjoy doing it most?
I love it.
Yeah. I can imagine so. And
it's harder being a good guy.
is it? Okay.
Because you can't get away with as much stuff. Like, you can't say what's really on your mind.
Yeah. Which, and if they give you the freedom, is it? Well, he says probably pretty restricted. But I'm guessing back in the day, or sometimes if they give you more freedom as a heel to maybe call people up from the crowd, or maybe set people in the crowd that are there for to pick on. That's got to be fun too. Just to.
It's great.
Or your opponent. Yeah.
It's the best. Yeah.
Which makes you think, like, back in the day, was The Rock really that creative, or was all that written for him? Or was Stone Cold all that creative, or was that written for him? Like, that's pretty impressive.
The Rock and Austin had a lot to do with.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Just working together. Yeah, that's.
I gotta say, The Rock is fucking hilarious. Oh my god, I saw him post. It was a live feed on who's that little comedian that does the movies?
Oh, Kevin Hart.
Oh my god, he's like, I'm gonna fart in your drink or something. I don't know. He's like, I don't know. I just saw the post and
the banter back and forth between the two is awesome.
Oh, those guys are actually really charismatic. They're funny
had
as
way
hell.
back in '98, but no one knew him. Like, that was the fun thing about him.
Yeah, I remember when I would go to Raw or SmackDown as an extra.
Sure.
To do those, just get beat up. He would be there, and he was still on TV at the time.
Yeah.
And known for his promos.
Yeah.
He cut a promo every single night.
Wow.
And I remember watching him backstage. He would have a script in his hand. One of the writers would come over to him, hand the script. They'd look it over, they'd talk it over, and then The Rock would go off into the corner and he would talk to a brick wall.
That's
and
awesome.
He'd be giving his promo and you see his hands going, and just like you'd see on TV. And then he would do that for a while, and then he would grab one of the other producers in the back and say, and he would do it to them, and then they would have a little discussion. It was like he was constantly working on perfecting whatever it was that he was doing. And then he would go out there, and the thing about The Rock's, his promos were always live. A lot of the stuff is taped beforehand. They tape it during the day and then they air it while the show's on. His stuff was always live because he had the crowd interaction, right?
Wow.
In 5 seconds, everybody will be chanting The Rock's name
by millions. Which is, kudos to him, obviously, where he's at now, but mastering his craft, where he took it to heart and seriously to go talk to a brick wall and kind of, I'm sure, envision who he's working with and stuff like that. Goes a long, long way.
Literally the hardest, people post all the time, be the hardest worker in the room, be the hardest. He truly is the hardest worker.
That's awesome.
In whatever room he's in. It's amazing. Every ounce of success that guy has, he's earned it.
That's awesome. And on top of that, too, him growing up in I know we talked about a rough life, in Hawaii, and his dad being a wrestler as it was, like, he's almost completely different wrestler than his dad ever was, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because completely different. He's made a man of his own, but he had all these different examples to look up to, but he's got his own direction. Kudos to him by doing all that.
Yeah. And like the name of his production company is now like $7 Production, because at one point that's all he had in his pocket was $7.
Yeah, you're right.
Sleeping on a mattress. He found a mattress out in the alleyway, and he had to spray it with 10 cans of Lysol.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was his bed.
My God. Yeah, I think he just got cut from Canadian football. He said
He did,
like
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing. Like, that's a great story. And then, comparable to him is the live action. And like you talked about at the very beginning of this podcast, is you're seeing Stone Cold come down the runway in a Zamboni or a beer truck or whatever it is. Like him being able to, even the thought, if it was beforehand or not, but just when he's got the beer going and he's swimming in the beer on the that's the creativity to come up with that is non-stop.
When he turned the beer hose on himself, he came up with a big beer truck and he was spraying the audience down, and then he turned around to get a drink for himself. And he says he almost knocked himself out. It hit him in the face with a fire hose.
That would fucking hurt.
Just
it was beer.
classic. Yeah.
So
it was? Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing, too, even though he dumped half it on his face when he'd crack it, but just the endless pursuit to keep cracking. And then on top of that, when his hands are probably slippery as hell, catch all those.
He never missed.
No. He must have mitts the size of a baseball. I mean, they were just...
Well, and we all know we all did that in college because of Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah, that was standard.
Yeah, you had to. You were the man until you did.
He doesn't know how many dreams he made come true.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
This was before I was I was on the couch. My hands were in my pockets for some reason. And I said, "Hey, Ben, can you get me a beer?" My buddy. And he came back and he just lobbed it to me. Sure. Cut my nose open. I have a little scar on my nose to this day.
That's hilarious.
Shit, that hurt.
I was no Stone Cold.
Man, and that's another guy who went his own way and, did the whole thing at the King of the Ring when he won that. And he's Austin 316. He took off from there basically. His story was, right?
Yeah, that was a big turning point in his career was that King of the Ring. And it was, I think Michael Hayes gave him the idea to go, because Jake was doing the Bible thumping.
Yeah. John 3:16.
Yeah.
Austin 3:16.
He said, "I just whipped your ass." And then the next night there were Austin 3:16 signs
everywhere.
And then Austin 3:16 shirt became the hottest selling.
Dude, that was at like Walmart when I was like 12. Everywhere.
It's probably one of the hottest, if not the hottest, still today of what was sold.
It's not anymore, but
because the internet went
for
out
a long time. Like John Cena's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Cena has completely surpassed anybody.
Really?
And CM Punk was doing really well for a while.
Yeah, he had a long stay. And to Cena's credit, I don't know if it's true or not, but they say he's never gone to the heel side because he does so many Make-A-Wish Foundation grants. Incredible.
And from merchandise alone, from a merchandise standpoint, he's got kids that buy the wristbands, the headband, the hat, the t-shirt, the spinner belt, the spinner, the logo that the chain that he wears around his neck, all that stuff. They buy the whole outfit. When they go up to the concessions booth, they buy like $200 worth.
Absolutely. Jeez. I got my set up when I deadlift. I mean, it's great. No. But also loyalty, respect. Which, I think back to which is kind of funny when The Rock would almost come out and purposely make fun of him for being Fruity Pebbles, and he kind of just he built into kids buying more of his stuff because he's pretty much just selling for him there. Yeah. Like, that was a great WrestleMania promo. The more he made fun of him for being colorful, the more it probably sold.
Well, it was great at the time because adults loved The Rock.
Yeah.
And kids loved John Cena, and adults hated John Cena for the most part.
Yep.
I hated John Cena.
Yeah.
And that's the whole.
12 years old was about the cutoff.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't like this guy.
Yeah, you're right. That's got to be where the Cena sucks. Go Cena comes in or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then with that, do you have with your when you're going over the Friday night promos with your students? Do you also have you have old film of Dusty or Arn Anderson, or do you watch some of those and kind of get these guys to feed off of that
We've
stuff?
got a big screen.
Yeah.
We've got a big movie theater screen.
Okay.
And up on the wall on a projector, and we put up some of the best promos of all time.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Talk about that and
see what they can come up.
Yep.
Okay.
Matches. We'll take some of the best matches of all time and sort of dissect them piece by piece.
That's really cool.
It's pretty fun.
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We gotta go out there.
To me, I learned so much by taped it. When I got to OVW,
Yeah.
Thursday was always tape day with Jim Cornette. He would just wheel
Yeah.
a TV in
Sure.
with a VCR, and
Yep.
we would watch the show from the night before because OVW taped TV. Excuse me, on Wednesday, and we would watch the tape back, and then he would sort of dissect it and say, "This is
Yeah.
what we could have done better."
Yeah.
And then he would go through and like just put
Yeah.
in old school wrestling matches and old
That's
school
awesome.
promos and talk about them. And I learned so much by doing it.
Yeah. You never put the Ultimate Warrior on there, do you? I mean, his was just off the tracks.
yeah, because
Just
because it worked.
yeah.
And yeah, he didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Him and Sid Vicious both.
It didn't matter.
They
It
were
didn't
just,
matter.
yeah, it was just that style was so intense. Yeah.
Every once in a while, something like that comes along. It's just
Okay.
Like, I have students in my
Yeah.
class right now that sometimes cut promos and I go like, "Oh, that was so warrior-ish. Didn't make any sense. I don't know what they said, but it was a good promo."
or back when
I want to watch more of it.
Yeah, when Brandy Savage always turns in circles as he's talking with the hands flittering, just the best.
Don't even get me started on that.
But
It's so
him being
good.
creative himself, like to come up with that shit is just incredible.
Yeah.
And then for you, you also had, as we were talking, you had a referee come through, and you teach everyone, just not wrestlers and right, and announcers maybe too, or even I don't know.
Mostly referees and managers
Okay.
and wrestlers.
And now, do they come in knowing they want to be a referee? Is that kind of just the direction they lead into?
We do. We've had a couple people that signed up,
Okay.
knew in advance, I want to be a ref, and we've had some people that came in and discovered. We had one guy that tried being a wrestler for 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Did extra private training sessions, just couldn't run the ropes, couldn't bump, but loved the business, and he came up to us after 5 or 6 months and said, "I think I want to ref."
Oh wow.
So then we transitioned his training to be referee, and he's booked every weekend all over the place.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just posted that he recently, like I said, he was in our first class.
Yeah.
I think he just posted that he just refed his 1,000th match or something.
Holy smokes,
wow.
that's great.
And that was like 2 months ago, so he's probably way up over that now.
And really, like, I think, a lot of us don't realize or whatever, but I'm guessing they have a lot to do with the story of the match and whether they're involved in there or not.
Totally.
And, yeah.
The referee is just as important as the two wrestlers.
Okay.
If you had two wrestlers in there wrestling and no referee, the match would suck.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have that 1, 2,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. Or if he gets knocked out.
Right.
And if he wakes up, yeah.
They're a big part of the storytelling
And
aspect.
if they see it or not, like you're saying. And then how about, like, and I could be wrong on this as well, but I feel like a lot of times, even the guys that get the push, a lot of that back in the day, at least, credit went to like Jim Ross when he would credit them for just building them up and building them up or whatever. Just as a fan, you're only going to maybe if they come to your town once a year.
Mm-hmm.
So 99% of the time you're watching on TV, right?
Yeah. Definitely the announcer has a
Yeah.
part of,
Okay.
especially the announcer is, very useful in situations where the guy's not that good.
Okay.
Because the announcer can cover things up.
Absolutely.
There are rookie mistakes that are made in the ring, and and then a good announcer says like, "Oh, that was a rookie move, and that's why he did that," and sort of covers up. What he's really saying is like, "That guy's green."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't have done that.
How, as far as your students go too, do you have many women that are involved or sign up, or how is that working for you?
We do. We have 4 or 5 women, but it's really. I wish more people, more women, would understand that wrestling is not for just men anymore. It's the women's revolution within wrestling is so cool to see, and like I said, they're main eventing pay-per-views now. They're main eventing Monday Night Raw.
It's huge.
And they're doing it well. They're not just like put in that slot because it's equal opportunity or whatever.
Absolutely.
They're actually being put into that slot, and they're living up to the expectations or surpassing the expectations.
Well, I think women in general everything has changed face on women, I think, in every power sport, whether it's wrestling, powerlifting, whatever. Like my gym is almost 70% women.
Yeah.
Like,
Hear that, man? Sign up.
yeah. No, really, that's what I'm thinking.
Ladies' night.
And I enjoy coaching women more. They're
probably
honestly
more responsive with no
Well,
egos
they
versus
are.
a
They
lot
can
of-
handle more volume. They're loyal to a fault almost. Like they don't have the buts, like you said. They don't. And I primarily would love to just coach women.
Yeah.
Like, they're fun to coach.
Well, think about the transition too, like as far as whether it's, I think in Olympic lifting or powerlifting or CrossFit, social media's helped a ton with the exposure. Now with women's wrestling, you're saying it used to be like the Kimberlys or the beautiful women that would just come in with bombshells.
Eye candy, arm candy, you know.
And now it's totally different, right? They can actually wrestle and take bumps. And
dude, some of those girls are athletic as hell.
You even look at Charlotte Flair right now. She's got both of it. She's attractive and she can wrestle, right?
Yeah.
She can talk too.
Yeah, and you have Molly Holly coming once in a while, right? Is that right or not? Yeah, okay.
She was part of our initial coaching staff.
Yep.
She doesn't come around that often,
Sure.
but she does like to come around every once in a while. And 2 years ago, she was in that first ever women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, she was, okay.
And we had a party at the school.
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Nice.
With a bunch of the students.
Yeah.
And I had no idea she was coming out.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So we're
Yeah.
sitting there watching, and
Yeah.
Anastasia just happened to be recording at that time for some reason.
Wow. Yeah.
When the countdown clock started.
She knew.
And she came out and, maybe. Did she call you and tell you? And everybody went crazy. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
It was a really cool thing to see. But
speaking of that,
one of our coaches is on TV again.
Yeah. And speaking of that with you, like I just, watched the recent Royal Rumble last week, and they had Jeff Jarrett come out, right? He hasn't been seen, I think because he just got hired by the WWE, maybe not, but he's back in there. And the funny thing about that was, like, he goes back and gets his ass kicked. I thought for sure he'd go out there and he'd stick it to, I forget the guy's name with the guitar, but I thought he'd stick it to him. Jeff Jarrett took he gave it to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, because Elias is the new let's make him look good. And what better way to make him look good than this
has
guy?
been,
but something that everybody knows and respects.
Which is a credit to Jeff Jarrett for going out there again. He probably got paid well. Put his ego aside, get publicly shamed, and pushing this guy out was huge in the business, right?
That's the most fun you'll ever have in the business is putting somebody else over. Getting that crowd reaction. We're trying to get this crowd reaction for this guy.
Yeah.
And when you are able to do it and look like an ass in the process.
Yeah.
Like, I love showing my ass.
Yeah.
Like, being a goof. Well, literally showing my ass.
Yeah.
But, figuratively just being a goof. And
really back in the day, they had a Kiss My Ass match, right?
Yeah,
I think it was Vincent Stone Cold or someone like that. I don't remember who it was. But that was
God, I
Kiss
remember
My
that.
Ass Club.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people in that club.
And I think
Legal with the peck on the butt cheeks.
that's another black book, right? And I think you even heard Stone Cold talking about this a lot. Steve Austin, where he's saying, he to an end of career, he was kind of upset that he had to push Brock over. He didn't want to do it or whatever because he didn't think Brock earned his way. Right. And I'm sure a lot of that happens too. There's a lot of animosity where you're like, well, here's this young up superstar. He didn't grind like I did for 18 years. Yeah. There's got to be some tough times to do that as well. So but he obviously did. But it goes both ways.
He went home, actually.
He did go home tonight. Okay, that's right. Okay.
They told him, you're going to put Brock over in the middle of the ring.
And he said, screw you, I'm gone. But he came back later, didn't he?
Like, he did have a legitimate beef.
Yeah.
He was the biggest name in that company.
He was. He carried it for years.
And his point of view was, I'm the last guy that Brock goes through. He can go through me, that's fine. He can pin me.
Yeah.
But I'm not the first guy that he goes through. I'm the last guy that he goes through.
Well, probably just
through all these other
absolutely
bigger but smaller, big name talent, but less of a name than Steve.
Which for Vince, I'm sure was a payday to get the huge pay-per-view, right?
When it was, they decided at that point that they were going with Brock as the guy, and at the end of the day, it was and Steve admits it to this day, like it was a bad decision that he made, and it's fake wrestling.
No, you're right.
I hate to say that people hate the word fake in the business, but like it's we're telling stories of good versus evil. Yeah. Sometimes you lose and sometimes you win.
Well, again, even as big as Austin is, Brock's twice as big, right? So to go out there and have to, work a match with him, I imagine, I could be wrong, but I imagine Brock's pretty good to work with because, except for the suplex cities, but he seems to work with a lot of different guys, different sizes. Yeah. And so he must be pretty comfortable to work with in the ring as well. I don't know if you were there when he was or not.
I wasn't.
Okay. But
I was there after he was there.
Okay.
And, before this last time.
Gotcha. was going to ask you next. Oh, the whole Jeff Jarrett thing coming back. For me, too, and seeing what you were used to do so good in the mic, like a Paul Heyman type thing, do you ever think about maybe if they contact you again, or you want to, you be someone's manager type thing because you're so good on the mic? Has that ever thought or crossed your mind? Or?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think that'd be huge for you if they ever came across.
A matter of
timing,
actually being able to do it.
Yeah.
I've got kids now. I want to, be around for my kids. And,
yep. It's still
sort of another reason why I opened up the wrestling school, so that I could come off the road. Because I wasn't with any of the big companies, but I was still taking bookings around the world. I was traveling all over the place every weekend.
Oh shit!
Pretty much wrestling, and opening the wrestling school has brought me back here, so that I'm home and available for them.
Okay.
So that would be tough because WWE runs 5 days a week. You only see one day a week on TV, but you're actually on the road 4 more days besides that.
The house matches, if they still do those and all, are just okay. And then for prospective students, when does your next class begin?
So the class that just started last night.
8 months, you said, or
it'll be 3 more months.
Okay.
So May will be the next opening.
And you said you brought in some special appearances from some of your friends back in the business, whether it's you said Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Kevin Nash. We had Tommy Dreamer.
Okay.
We've had Christopher Daniels.
Okay.
X-Pac, Billy Gunn.
Oh yeah. Which has got to be. I mean, I hope some of your students know who they are or not, but I'm guessing they all learn something from these old veterans you bring in, which has got to be pretty cool for you and them to have that experience, which you're not going to get really probably anywhere else, really, except unless you're in the NXT or whatever, probably.
Yeah, and the thing is, every one of us that has been whatever level of successful in the business has a different story.
Okay.
So my story might not help somebody else, but hearing Billy Gunn's story or hearing his perspective on what you should do could help somebody else.
And I can imagine, like, even personality or size-wise, you got like Kevin Nash, an old basketball player, coming in with his size and pushing him. Like, to me, if any guy that size isn't able to make it, like, you're doing something horribly wrong. But obviously, there's only a few that do, right?
Yeah.
And so he'd probably ask me to get insight. You go, well, someone who's 6'7" or older, I mean, you should be reaching out to that guy as soon as you can, somehow, some way.
Yeah.
But he was also great at the mic, too.
And he was able to single out the guys that were jacked and tall.
Yeah.
And say, like, actually give them advice that they couldn't get from anybody else.
Yeah,
I can't give them that advice.
Yeah.
Which is a tribute for bringing them in. That's great again. You probably can't, announce or promise you're going to bring anybody in, but the fact that you have the ability to is probably another reason students should really think about going to your school versus maybe any other one within, the area,
I hope
Midwest.
so. I mean, I try to, when I was coming up, like I said, I trained for 9 months at a wrestling school with guys that had never really made it in the business. And I was lucky that they knew what they were talking about.
Sure.
They never went to WWF or WWE or WCW or anything like that, but they understood the business and they were able to. However, I never knew anybody in the business. I never knew anybody that worked for WWE or WCW or anything.
Yeah.
I had to make all those connections myself, and I always wanted to. If I have the ability to, I want to be able to. Now I can, when my students come to me and want to go work for WWE, I can email the guy at WWE and say, hey, this guy, you should take a look at him.
That's
I
huge.
can't promise, like I said, I can't promise anything. I'm not affiliated with WWE at all, but at least I can maybe make a connection, open a door.
Well, even just knowing the connections that you may have just through a friend of a friend, or the fact that you have some of these friends that really come work with you, says a lot about the potential they may be presented in front of, which is great.
Well, I think that's what happens always, not what you know, it's who you know. Don't get me wrong.
And timing,
And timing, but it sure as hell helps.
And then what would you say to any, well, let me ask you this real quick too, before I go there, is, when you think about the old legendary coaches in this area back in the day, whether it was, I think it was Brad Riggins and Eddie Sharkey, if I'm right?
Riggins,
yeah.
I trained with Brad for 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, I had been in the business for about 3 years.
Okay.
And then I went to Brad's camp. It was like a 3-month class, and he really polished me.
And now, was he the one that was out on the west side of Minneapolis, out at Training Old Barn? And I remember hearing.
I can't remember what the name of the town was.
Yeah. like Minnetonka, somewhere out there, but I think it was even, I was listening to Vader talk, but he went out there. He was a big guy coming to college football or pro football, whatever it was. And this guy was throwing him through walls and just incredibly just stuff he wasn't ready for, but it trained him to get him where he needed to be. So, and they talked about endless amount of work they would do, and they were just beat up and just, so is it kind of the same mentality as it is now? Like, are you guys still just grinding people down to polish that stone, or are they making small steps to get to where they need to be, I guess?
I don't try to beat people up.
Okay.
There's an old mentality of beat them up.
Yes.
20 people show up, beat the piss out of them.
Yep.
The first day, the first week, maybe the first month.
Yeah.
So hopefully most of them will go away.
Okay.
I feel like there are a lot of people, a lot of my students that would have gone away that we wouldn't be enjoying right now in the independent scene in Minnesota.
Sure.
Because they would have just gone away.
Yep.
They would have been like, this is not for me. So I don't, it's sort of like an old school bullying mentality that I just don't subscribe to.
Yep.
Some people might subscribe to that, and that's fine, but that's just not me. I try to have a positive environment, and I do challenge them and I push them, but I try to do it in a manner where, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Quit being a pussy.
And find a way for probably them to succeed the best they can.
Suck.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. Because it's not going to be easy. There should be some
Nothing worth
sacrifice
doing
made
is.
with it. Yeah.
But
So
I
the-
definitely don't beat them up and push them out the door.
Yeah, because that's how you would hear about those old school training days, and Kevin Patera talking about stuff they go in there in the winter, and it'd be just as cold inside as it was outside.
You watch the Ric Flair 30 for 30 documentary.
Yeah.
He talks about going to that AWA camp.
Yeah.
Beat the piss out of him.
Which is why I ask, like, if it's still the same way, because I feel like it'd be bad for business, and it'll just push people away versus finding them an area to succeed in. Like you said, if it's a referee or a wrestler.
It's a different time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Billy Gunn came to the school a few months ago and said his first day, the two guys that he went in the ring with were the brothers, the Ball brothers.
Brothers Destruction or something?
No, that was Kane and Undertaker.
Okay.
DOA.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I can't think of the names right now.
And
Yep.
8-Ball.
Yep.
And those guys beat the snot out of him.
Yeah.
And he went home and he was like, yeah, I love it. You know, those guys went home,
Like a rite of passage.
came
almost.
back, but he was like,
Yeah.
when he showed up the next day, they were like, okay, he's serious about this.
Well, he's a different guy, too. He's built like a genetic freak.
It's insane how big he is.
And he's tall, too, isn't
And
he?
he's 52 years old.
Yeah.
And he is more jacked than ever.
Yeah.
He's so, and he eats whatever he wants to.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah,
right.
Nori.
He's
One of our
very
friends, Nor, we
intensely
always
trained.
drop him.
Yeah.
He's just worthless.
No, but he can eat what he wants. Yeah,
He can eat what he wants. He just has veiny
Yeah.
arms still.
What were you saying about him? He trains what?
He just trains like,
Yeah.
he's very intense when he trains, and trains like an animal.
And so with that, with the training part, do these guys, these students you have, guys and girls, do you also do like weightlifting there at all, or is that all on their own, or do you have a facility for that too? Or?
I do offer them like
Okay.
programs and stuff. I'll sit down
Yeah.
with them and put together a training program.
Very cool,
I was
okay.
a personal trainer at one point.
Yep.
We'll talk about diet and nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist, so I
Yep.
can't, give them a diet or whatever, but like
Sure.
I'll give them pointers.
Yeah.
Some people don't know the macronutrients and what protein does and what carbohydrates are
Yeah.
and what fats are, what are good fats, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
a long
so
way.
I'm just trying to help people go from making all bad decisions and eating gas station food to
Yeah.
you can actually eat gas station food and make healthy
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
Well, especially life on the road, if you do start going independently,
You have
and
to.
you're working every weekend, you got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You have to. Sometimes McDonald's is the only choice. And
Probably the dollar menu, take the buns off and you're good.
chicken breasts.
Yeah.
Eggs are 24 hours a day now.
Yeah, you're right.
Do stuff like that.
And then do you have any other questions or anything at all?
No. I think I always like to end with this. So, now that you're kind of established roots with your school now and you're a few years in, where do you kind of want to grow it to, or your end game, or where do you see the future going with it?
Before the WWE started their performance center,
Yeah.
I always had this vision of having a place where I could have a wrestling school and attached, just a one-stop shop for fitness.
Sure.
Having a gym and a cardio area and a wrestling school and an MMA area and a smoothie bar and a tanning
chiropractor.
And I don't believe in chiropractic.
I don't either. I just said you do it. Yeah.
You know, but people do, and the cryotherapy, which I think is voodoo, but you know, one of those because placebo works for some people.
But that would be a pretty one, you know, like you said, one-stop shop for everything to have.
Because like I remember coming off the road, and I gotta go to the gym. I gotta get my hair dyed. I gotta get my hair cut. I gotta do all this stuff, but I had to go to all these separate places to do it. And I'm in Woodbury, and there's everything here within a 5-mile radius. But it's still kind of annoying to have to. It would be awesome to just drop the kids off at the daycare. Go do all your stuff.
Absolutely.
So I guess, you know, but baby steps.
Yeah, for sure.
Baby steps. And I'd like to move to Woodbury because we're in Brooklyn Park right now.
Okay.
I like Woodbury.
Then you must have students coming from all over then, because like you're saying earlier, wrestling is that niche sport, their entertainment factor now that some people just love and want to get a taste of, see if they can excel at that. Are they coming from all over the place, or are they kind of just in the North Metro area?
We had a student come from Chile. He's been here twice. Two different 3-month training sessions. I think he only had 3 months on his.
Just for the wrestling, or was he here for school or something?
He was here. He came to the
just for that.
Come to the academy, and we had 2 students come here from Australia.
Holy smokes!
They spent a month and a half with us.
That's incredible.
And we've got a couple guys. Most of the people are from here in the Twin Cities area, but we've got a guy. We had a guy who was traveling. Was it 3.5 hours? He would drive 3.5 hours here from Wisconsin, from the middle of Wisconsin.
Wow.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and drive home that night. He'd spend 21 hours in the car every week to come to wrestling school. Like that kind of stuff. That's dedication.
Man.
That to me like gives me warm fuzzies.
You wish every kid that had any talent had that same kind of desire to drive to.
And then I have students that live 10 miles away from school who don't show up to class, and then when I ask them where you been, well, I've been so busy I can't. It's just like working out. You have 45 minutes in every day where you do nothing, you pick your butt, get to the gym, or you don't even have to get to the gym.
Shit, all you gotta do now is swipe left on most phones. You can see how much time they spend on their phone that day. There's the fucking time where you could have been in the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Playing Fortnite Birds or
exactly.
Gardenscapes. That's my latest. I'm pooping though.
I think that's everyone's vice. Man, I just spent a half hour pooping.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of
She's always like, "What are you doing in there?"
I'm enjoying myself.
Let me finish.
You fapping.
Oh shit!
Just turn the shower on sometimes within your shower. Another question I forgot to ask you too earlier when we talked about your 35-minute match and some of these stories about like the taker being on the Stairmaster forever. So the cardio conditioning that you need to be in some of these long matches, is it just, do you do endless cardio leading up to a match like that, or are you just hoping you make it through? Like, how do you get yourself conditioned for that type of a brutal work match?
The only way to really get in that kind of conditioning is to do it in the ring.
Gotcha.
There's just nothing more.
You can't mimic the sport.
It's really hard to mimic because it's, I guess, high intensity interval training is about as close as you can get to bursts of energy. But it's very active rest.
Sure.
Like it's high energy, short bursts of high energy followed by active rest continuously. But you're talking and you're moving. It's
and
hard
you got to play to the crowd. I'm guessing the guy you're working with too, and whatnot. It's just nonstop. You got to be alert. You can't just kind of get zoned out like you're saying on a Stairmaster or cart. Or you got to probably do like you said in the ring.
And you don't have to be. Everybody doesn't have to look like Brock Lesnar. Not everybody has to look like John Cena. You get guys in the business, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and those guys who, if you saw him on the street, you'd be like, oh, it's a fat guy. But if Vince told either one of those two guys to get in the ring and go 2 hours, they could do it. You have to be in shape. Dusty Rhodes was a big fat guy, but he kept going an hour every night. And did regularly. that's the key. Is like not everybody has to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But you got to be in shape.
Yeah.
Well, again, any prospective students you have coming in, I think that's important to know too. If you don't look like one of those top shiny guys, you may have something of value to bring. You just got to figure out what it is, right? I mean, what would you say to any prospective students who want to join and want to check your place out? What kind of experience will they get from going to your school?
I just think I've got 20 years of experience in the business. I've made every possible mistake you can make.
Yeah.
And I've had some successes along the way.
Yep.
And I have friends who have done the same that I can call upon and ask questions. And I just try to help each individual person. And I always say, like, success is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
We had 14 students start last night. So some of you guys might want to just blow off steam on the weekends with your buddies and have a good time. Some of you might want to get to WWE. Both of those are acceptable. That's okay.
Yeah.
And I want to help you try to do that.
Yeah.
And each individual person has their weaknesses and they have their strengths. And I want to accentuate their strengths and hide their weaknesses. And, work on those weaknesses a little bit. But a lot of times, that was a great thing about Paul Heyman was he was really able to take somebody's strength and just shine a big spotlight on that and we just don't do that other stuff that you can't do. If you're not a technical wrestler, you're never going to grab a wrist lock.
It probably saves a lot of time too, right? And moving them forward.
Yeah.
Wow. And so with that, with some of the previous classes you've had, do a lot of your students, you mentioned the one that kind of on his way up and the other one's a referee now, who's done quite a few matches, but do you have a lot of other students that you find go into the weekend type of shows, or what kind of area do a lot of your students go into that are making it maybe to the top level right now?
Yeah, so right now in the Twin Cities area, or just in the Midwest, there is a show, at least one show, a lot of times 2 or 3 shows going on simultaneously, different places. Every week, our students are working just about every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So, we have class on Friday night, but a lot of times students can't come to class because they're booked on a show.
Which is a good problem to have, I imagine.
Totally,
definitely.
So we have, usually a smaller class on Friday nights. It's usually at the start of a class. It's a big class on a Friday, and then it just kind of whittles away to 5, 6 people. But that's really what they do. They start working, and like I said, I have a lot of connections in the business, but I can make those calls, and I have connections with promoters and stuff, but I usually don't have to do anything because my students, they get to know each other and they help each other out so much. It's really cool. It's a family.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
So then, how do people get a hold of you if they want to join the school and check it out? What's your website?
It's the theacademyprowrestling.com. We're on Instagram. It's the Academy SOPW.
Okay.
And on Twitter, it's the Academy SOPW. Ask Anastasia.
Rule 2.
That's right. Rule 2. And then what's your personal stuff they can find you at too if they're just big fans? They want to see what Ken Anderson's up to. Probably Mr. Anderson.
Instagram is Mr. MISTER Ken Anderson, and Twitter is MR Ken Anderson.
All right. And not to put you on the
They can also call 507-722-2776, and they can text that number, and that goes directly to my phone. It goes directly to Anastasia's phone.
Awesome.
And they can get a hold of us, ask us questions about the school.
Can you repeat that? I missed that number.
Yeah, it's 507-722-2776.
Saturday.
Sunday.
That's awesome. And not to put you on the spot, but I'll put you on the spot because I love when Stone Cold does this to end all of his podcasts. Can you give us a match of yours that you'd want people to go out and watch maybe in the past they can find on YouTube? Do you have one you can think of that people might really love to see? Or someone else's. Or a promo or something.
My favorite matches I've ever had was a match with Kurt Angle. It was inside a steel cage for TNA. It was Lockdown 2009, I want to say.
All right.
So awesome. And a funny story behind that was we had like 15 minutes. Going into a couple weeks a couple weeks before, Kurt said, we're going to have like 25 minutes that night, which is a long time to have for a television show or a pay-per-view. And then on the day, he said, we only have 15 minutes or 16 minutes, whatever. He goes, we're going 25. He goes, I'll take the heat for it, don't worry.
Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
It's Kurt Angle, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. We love that he wants to work that long, too. Cool, yeah.
The referee's coming over and saying, take it home. Wrapping it up. And we just kept going. We got to the back, and, AJ Styles and Ric Flair were supposed to go on after us.
Yeah.
And AJ was hot.
Oh, was he?
His time went from 15 minutes down to 10 because they had to take time away from his match.
Okay. Oh, I gotcha. And he might have had a title match that night if he's going against Flair after you guys.
10 minutes with Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah. Well, look where he is now. He's taking over WWE. He can't care. Yeah. All thanks to you guys.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Remember, I didn't get any heat. Kurt literally took all the heat.
Everything. Wow.
I'm sorry, that was Kurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. And he goes, I know, goddammit. But he didn't say goddammit because he's really Christian, so he'd never say goddammit.
Yeah.
I think he allows himself 2 F-bombs a year.
Does
AJ.
he really? Yeah.
He never swears.
Really?
I think he used an F-bomb back then.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, he was mad then. He's a fun wrestler to watch, too. You guys, holy cow. Is there anyone else you want to give any sponsor, anything you want to, give attention to right now or not? Or are you...
Max Muscle.
Okay.
I got friends over here in Woodbury.
Yep.
Jason and Lubita. You guys know them well, I think.
We do, yeah. Jason and Luby.
Great supplements, great people.
Yeah, they're awesome to have.
What's that?
They're awesome to have.
Yeah,
they help out a lot.
Well, thank you, and thank Anastasia. Thanks for coming very much. We appreciate it. We got to come check out the wrestling school
Thanks
academy.
for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
All
great.
Thank you, man.
Bumps.